Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of My Mic Was Muted at the beginning, and it's another Saturday of Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Fylth. I'm here every Saturday, pending alien abduction or beat up by Sasquatch or something like that, at 2 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Mountain. And you can also check out Dave Scott, Monday to Friday, Spaced Out Radio at 9 p.m. Pacific, and Wednesdays with Grantavius Flavius Maximus, Legio 13, Handsome Grant Baker, and Lee. They do the Max Report. Friday, Lee does Element 115 or 115 or 11.5. Who knows? He's going to hit me probably. And Saturdays, Mr. Rob G. Capital M, Mr. Rob G. Oh, look, it's 10 p.m. over in the UK. Hello, Stephen Finnegan and Night Drive and Kitty Caddywhack. How's is it stereotypically raining in the UK? I've never been to the UK, but I would like to go to Scotland. Ooh, thanks, Kitty Caddywhack, for a nice sticker. Super sticker. I'd like to go to Scotland because I'd like to try some real haggis made by some old lady out in a field somewhere. That'd be nice. I used to go to the Glasgow Butcher, where I live now. And he made some pretty good haggis. I've tried some other ones from a couple different butcher shops around here in town, but they've never been able to quite capture the way that he did it. So he's probably got some like ancient Scottish secret that he uses of some sort. It's probably just actually love. He makes it with love. He's a good guy. Andy was his name. Could only understand every like third or fourth word that he said, but good guy. He also had some of those nice Walker crisps they have. Those are good. And they're like some like kind of like little monster thing. I forget the actual name, but they were onion flavored and they actually tasted more like vinegar. But maybe it's a regional thing. So today I'm working on the first drawing. Lives near the Scottish border. I have a friend that lives in Aberdeenshire as well. She's her and I used to play World of Warcraft together all the time. And she was the one that actually got me into Rabbi Burns Day. And so first time I had the haggis and everything, I did it all correct. I had the address to the haggis and I didn't know what to say. So I just said, screw the English. I didn't know what the Scottish word for cheers was. So I told her that. She's like, that's fine. So that worked out pretty good. But anyways, this is the first drawing for my 2026 calendar, which I usually get out around the end of October, beginning of November. I'm going to try to get it out at the beginning of October this year, pending certain things go correct for me, because, you know, technology has a way to give me a kick in the pants once in a while. So I think this is probably my fourth or fifth calendar. Well, I've been at least doing it since 2023. So this is the 2023 one. It's a little bit old, but what I always do is I find interesting UFO dates and write them down on here. For instance, 1942, the Battle of Los Angeles on February 24th, or 1803, the Utsurobune incident in Japan, which was, as far as I remember, fishermen witnessed a wooden craft come down from the sky, and a lady got out of it and was beckoning him to join her. If it was me, I'd be gone. Maybe I'd be eaten alive by strange space aliens posing as cute Japanese girls, but you know what? What other way would you want to go? I guess nobody would know. You just disappear, kind of like that Granger Taylor guy in BC who he wrote a letter to his parents and told them that he was in contact with ETs and that he was going to join them. And they found his vehicle and that was it. They never seen him ever again. Never heard from him. Never found any body or anything. So my guess is he's traveling through space. Much like people that go in the woods and they see those stairs that lead to nowhere. I mean, if I had I had a fairly competent dog with me, or maybe a couple friends. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? At least if you're going to get lost in some other dimension, you'd have a dog and your friends with you. So I'd probably give it a shot. But first, much like if you're getting attacked by a Sasquatch or a dogman or something, you must go live on YouTube or Facebook or X or wherever you can go live and record that you're getting punched in the head by a Sasquatch. Because, you know, I guess if you got beat up by a Sasquatch, it'd probably be fairly evident because he's, 9 feet tall, like 1,200 pounds of pure muscle, and like one shot would probably like break all your ribs and everything. And you'd probably, maybe not like North American Sasquatch or Canadian Sasquatch living in BC, because they're a little more chill, unlike the grumpy skunk apes down in Florida. But I mean, if you live in Florida and you live in a swamp and it's hot and sweaty and you got bad case of swalls and swunt and all that stuff, then it's probably a little more difficult to deal with. And I don't know, I'd probably die in Florida. Although I'd like to go down there. I got a lot of friends down there. And also there's a lot of good music festivals down there. Oh, somebody's crying. But yes, this is first drawing. I always like to do the New Year's drawing first, get out of the way. And then after that, they're kind of themed each month. Monster Munch, yes, that's it. Pickled onion. There's a place at West Edmonton Mall that's some English store, and they sell that stuff. I'm gonna have to make a trip there maybe tomorrow. I'll be in that general area, so I'll go there and pay like $4 for a bag of the stuff. But it's worth it. 100% worth it. Now, I'm gonna finish up the background here. I discovered that I've drawn 60 drawings plus in the last month or so, because I went to grab some paper for the Thursday show with Dave, but I didn't have any paper left, so I had to get my accomplice Foxx to order me some paper on Friday, and I went after work and I got 3 packs of the stuff, so that should last me about a week or so. I don't know which one I want to go with here. There's cat fuzz and everything. I don't know. I'm just going to start blaming the orange guy, because it seems to be lightly colored cat fuzz. And that narrows it down, because whiskey's dark colored and the gargoyle is a Russian blue. So, alrighty. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. My Saturdays are usually pretty good. No dice rolling this weekend. It's getting to be the tail end of summer, and a lot of my pals are going out and doing all that family stuff with their kids and their dog and their sprogs and everything. I think most of them are going camping. Oops, I forgot to check out the colors of the. There we go. Excellent. 2 of my favorite colors, green and purple, of the Zombunny. This is one of the first larger drawings of Zombunnies that I'm doing. And the Zombunnies are a creation from my accomplice, Foxx Vegas. She comes over and hangs out with me on Saturdays and catches all the stuff in the chat room, so I can just stare at paper instead of moving my eyeballs back and forth. And yeah, so maybe we'll have to get her a microphone so she can yell into the void. She says no now, but who knows in the future? Maybe we can just get her hands sewing something together. I don't think that's going to ever happen, but I mean, Mrs. Filth put on a bathing suit the other day, and I never thought that was going to happen. Went out into public on the weekend. Strange. But the Zombunnies were her original creation. Her and the late researcher Hill had invented them. And recently, I was given the honor and privilege to be able to name future Zombunnies that are either born in the lab or found in the wild. Because they do exist in the wild. They're just difficult to find. Notoriously difficult to find. We sold, how many did we sell at the Art Walk of your Zombunnies? I think like 3? 2 for sure. Because, first day is always wonky, and then by the 3rd day, you just want to get home because people, and yeah. But I had a good time. unfortunately, there's not very many events that are price friendly. I mean, there's a comic expo that comes to Edmonton, and I'd like to go there. However, I think for just a single table, I think it was $300 for a single table, and then if you want two tables, it's something like $400, and that's just a lot of money to try to spend to have people just look at your stuff and
And you're smushed like sardines.
Yes, smushed like sardines, and you don't even get to eat any of the other people around you. Usually. But
and like a million different competitors.
Yeah, and then there's also, more established people, and it's probably pretty clicky. I don't know. I'm just assuming things right now. So I'm just gonna not do that. But I find a lot of you got to put your time in, I guess, which makes sense. But at the same time, you don't want to push people away for events like that, which is kind of why I like the art walk a lot. Because the first year I did it, everybody was really kind to me. Obviously, I told people it was my first time at the art walk, and they were really accommodating. Kind of just, hello, mister. Hello, mister. Yeah, he's just passing through. There he goes. They're just really accommodating, and everybody there was nice. And again, this year, the people in the zone that I was in recognized me. So that made me feel nice. I even sent a letter. I think I said this last week, and I sent an email to the organizer of the whole thing, and I just said to say that people in Zone 2 were awesome, and they were helpful. And it wasn't like they were buying us pizza or anything. It was just come around every once in a while, check on you, see how you're doing, ask if you need to go for a break or anything, and it's just little things like that that make you feel appreciated, and then you do appreciate it because they're already volunteering. They got a lot on their hands, and it goes till 5 o'clock. A lot of people aren't even getting ready to leave at 5. And, these people, they're volunteering, but they're still spending their time there. And you have to appreciate that because they're not getting paid for it. They're doing it because they enjoy doing it. Or they've made some kind of infernal pact with the devil of some sort. I don't know. Joke's on them if it's the latter, because it never works out in the favor of the humans or whoever made the pact with the devil. At least according to all the fantasy novels I've read and RPGs and junk, because it's all good in the beginning. You get all the magical powers and whatnot, but then he's like, hey, by the way, I need a favor from you, and I'm a devil, so it's not going to be like, can you take this Saskatoon berry pie over to grandma's house for me or something? It's always got to be something like, this needs to be stolen, and there's like a dragon guarding it or something. So yeah. But speaking of RPGs, last Saturday, the orchestra of Icewind Dale went back to Caer Dineval to enhance some of their weaponry, but it didn't turn out as they wanted, and the Frost Maiden was there, and she punched the living crap out of them, and currently they're KO'd in a little tiny forest outside of Caer Dineval. They'll just call it a bunch of dead trees mostly, really. And yeah, so luckily they got some friends that are on the way, so it depends how long they're out there and whatnot. I don't really go by one-to-one time because my friends and I don't play as much as we used to because life and everything. So 6:43 Sunday in the Australian outback. Cool. Good morning, Bino. I have a whole bunch of art in Australia. And we recently had Attila Caldi. He's an absolutely awesome human. His company's called Moonlark Media, and he does a lot of stuff on UFOs and Bigfoot. And if you ever get a chance to look up his stuff, I think on Tubi TV, he has either like Tubi or some kind of free channel thing. His Moonlark Media shows are on there, and he did one about Bigfoot, and it was the Yowie rather. I apologize. And excuse me. He talked about when there was the big forest fires that were happening down there, I think 2022 or something. But it was much like it had happened before, where there's forest fires and people had claimed to see, big hairy men walking across the road. And surely your Uncle Larry can't be everywhere with his shirt off, wandering around the forests of the world during fires. So, it lends a little credence to this stuff. We're supposed to have also the Brothers Strong, and I can't remember if Dave got in touch with them or if it was I was supposed to. I can't remember. I've been pretty brain dead the last little while, but brain dead for a long time. But I'm gonna have to get in touch with them again because they have their theory. It's called Out of Australia, and it's basically they became good friends with a lot of the Aborigines, and they are starting to tell them their stories. I think the last time they were on, there was a big mix-up, and we had the time differences all mushed together and everything. It was all my fault, and I apologize for that, everyone. But I will get them back on. But they had a really good episode, though. I think Rob G was the guy that was on because originally a couple years ago, because Dave had the leprosy then, and he was down for the count, and Rob had to jump on the show. But anyways, the whole story is they've been in touch with some of the Aborigines there. they've been telling them their origin stories, and they've got all types of stones with writing and glyphs, and I think they call those petroglyphs. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't want to ruin it too much because I got to get them back on the show, so I will cease my ramblings about that. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it has, because for what I read, I just thought there was originally just is that green okay?
Yeah, that's fairly okay.
Yeah, it's a little darker, but I can do something with it. But I originally just thought that there was just the original Yowies, whatever. And then it turned out that there was apparently larger ones, and then a medium-sized one, and a small one, and then it just kind of went on from there. And yeah, so I guess it evolves like everything else. That's why we don't see the typical classic UFOs anymore with the nose is purple as well, with the glass dome top and everything. It's all orbs and tic tacs and things like that now. So I guess it's because the phenomena just kind of changes with humans, so as they perceive it, which I always kind of like that little rabbit hole as I paint a zombie here. I always like that rabbit hole of, the phenomena changes to suit what you want it to be, I guess is the way, or to reflect the current situations of how people perceive it to be, I guess. Which is why a lot of people have claimed that UFOs are a custom-made machine of some sort, made by some kind of intelligence that they craft the machine or whatever it is, the entity, the sentience or whatever. They craft it for a specific purpose. Is the tail purple as well?
Yes.
Okay. They craft it for a specific purpose. It does its purpose, and then it returns to wherever it is. Apparently off Catalina Islands, there's a place where there's an alien base apparently off the Catalina Islands, off the west coast of California, the only coast California has. And it does whatever it does, and it goes back there and it becomes repurposed, which kind of sounds like a science fiction movie, or a song by Cyanotic or something. Those guys are great. If you're ever in Chicago and you get a chance to go to the Cold Waves Festival, I would go there. And also, if you ever get a chance to go there, or even just if you're around, if you ever see Cyanotic or Rabbit Junk playing, good angry robot music, good stuff to enjoy if you're out there. I don't mind plugging their stuff because they're good guys. And they also have my artwork hanging in their studio, which kind of gives me a reason to go down to Chicago one day. Are you alive, mister? Hey?
Benno is going to be sharing some of his art on Friday on his friend's channel. So I want to see that.
You'll have to message me somehow, because I'd like to go look. I always like looking at other artists' stuff because it gives me a little inspiration just to see what other people do. I know everybody's art is always different. And then I think that one of the problems of being an artist is you see other art and, you know, it's so new to you that you think, oh, geez, that's better than mine or something. And then, you know, you kind of feel bad about yourself. That, at least with me, I used to do that all the time. Excuse me. I would see other art from other artists, and then I would say, hey, that's way better than what I'm doing. But then after a while, I realized that, you know, everybody's doing their own thing and they're good at their flavor of art. Excuse me. So you can't really compare it to anybody else. This Friday, excuse me, that would be Thursday for me. Actually, I don't really play a lot of video games anymore, but the other day I was playing Chivalry 2, and some guy was in the chat room, and he was fairly pickled up, and he kept mentioning that he plays heavy metal music. I'm like, well, let's plug your song, buddy boy. So he plugged the song, and I went and looked. It was actually pretty good. And then I was like, well, since we're plugging our talents and whatnot, I told him to go check out my art, and he's like, wow, it's pretty cool. He's like, do you make music videos? And I said, no, because I don't know how to do animation. And he said, well, maybe we can like cooperate or put something together, collaborate on something. So I'd really like to get a animated bit going. I had a friend of mine that I was in contact with recently again, and we might get an animated thing going together. I'm not sure yet. It's still up in the air. I don't want to take on too much stuff because nothing's worse than having a giant plate full of stuff that you can't finish. Oh, excuse me. That's going to be like me later. I'm going to go have chicken wings, and I'm going to bug Jacob, the guy who every time I go there, he's like, Klaus, you want your fries with your chicken wings this time? I'm going to say yes, and he's going to forget about them. And then I'm going to have to scold him again. At this point in time, I don't even know if I actually really want the fries. It's just the principle of getting them. But yes. I'd definitely like to see it, Bino. Or Benno. I'm not sure. It's the English and its weird letterings and pronunciations of stuff. Yes, pickled up. A lot of people don't say that anymore. Or, you know, if you're really loaded, you can say that you're listing ground words if you can't stand up properly. I guess it's more of a pirate thing. I don't know. Everybody wants to be a pirate or a ninja or something, and all I want to do is be a Knight Templar or like a Roman spearman or something like that. That's how you deal with the Sasquatch, is a legion of Roman pikemen. Because you don't want to get him. You don't want angry Sasquatch to get close to you, because you know, shatter all your bones and everything. Chicken. I'm not sure. I don't really feed them. I don't feed my cats chicken bones or anything. I have given them meat. We feed the cats raw meat, because they all were born farm cats, so they just ate whatever. But I can definitely assure you that mouse bones don't bother cats, because I know Whiskey really likes her mice. When I used to have my Blob, I miss my Blob. When I used to have Blob, I called her Gentle Blob, because she would capture the mice very gently, and you know, she was a pretty rotund cat, and she would capture the mice nice and gently, and then bring them to Whiskey, and Whiskey would eat the feet and tail first, and then eat the mouse from the bottom end up. Yeah. I think that she liked the little squishy, crunchy bit at the top of the mouse's head. And yeah, it was always pretty gruesome when she'd eat them, because, you know, nothing's worse than watching a poor little mouse struggle with no feet and tail, and then Whiskey just slowly making her way up. And she must have been some kind of serial killer of some sort in her past life. But I don't know about birds, because Whiskey's caught a couple birds. She brought one up to me while I was drawing one time. I think it was on a show a while ago. Well, probably 2022 when I first started drawing on the show with Dave. And Whiskey came into the room. I heard her whining, and I knew she had something in her mouth just by the way she was whining. And she came in, and I thought it was, I got these little fake little bird toy things for the cats. And I thought it was one of those. And she dropped it and immediately flew up into the ceiling and flew around. And I panicked, and Mrs. Filth panicked, and we're trying to capture this bird. And then I closed the door into Mrs. Filth. And yeah, it was basically like, it was a comedic scene. You could have had like Buster Keaton write that kind of stuff, and you know, people would be like bonking into each other, and you know, it was out of control. But yeah, Whiskey really likes her mice. We don't really let the cats out too much anymore because the neighbors around here are a bunch of crybaby whiners, and they complain about the cats all the time. And then the one lady complained that there were too many rabbits around here. It's like, sorry, lady, but you're not going to eliminate nature. And if your life is so miserable that you complain about all the animals, maybe you should go live in an old folks' home where there's nothing and you just stare at the wall all day. And your kids never come and visit you because you're grouched to them too. And then, you know, you just live a sad, miserable life because you don't like animals, you don't like nature, and you can't appreciate fine things in life like my cartoons. So good for her. Hope she stubs her toe real bad too. Ointment and stuff like that. But all in all, the New Year's drawings is always one of my favorites because then I kind of know that it's the next year's coming up. Maybe stressing season soon. Only like 72 days. Oh God. No, 74. Wait, Skinner's 74, right? Or is he 72?
74.
Yeah. Stuart Skinner amount of days till hockey. That's 74 days. And then my friend John Russell can be happy because it'll be winter time. But he lives in Florida, so he doesn't even get winter. Yeah. Fair enough, though. He is originally from New York, so I guess when you don't have something that you used to like and then you don't get to have winter, I mean, I don't know if I would miss winter. I mean, winter, the thing is, in at least in Edmonton, winter's fun for the first like 2 or 3 days. And then once all the cold sets in and it's dark and it's miserable and it's minus 6,000, wind blowing, you know, can't open your windows. Everything's frozen. You got to shovel your sidewalk 3 times a day. It gets pretty, you know, it's all nice and pretty when the snow comes down. But then typical Edmonton, once the snow has been around for a while, it gets all dirty and it's brown and it's just sludge. And then in the summertime, everything melts and all the garbage is floating around. You get Tim Hortons cups all over the place. And yeah, it's not fun. Oops, that's a little darker than I expected. Yeah, I hope she gets bunions really bad. What do I need to do for the hat? Let's make it blue. But the only good thing about winter is there's no mosquitoes. But I guess on the plus side, I haven't really been pestered by mosquitoes too much this year.
There's no wasps either.
Yeah, and it hasn't been a lot of wasps this year. I had one at work. It came flying over and it buzzed me and I whacked it in the head and that was the end of him. Normally I don't really go to my way to squish things or whatever, but I just, he seemed like he was pretty angry and I didn't want any part of it. So Great White Hunter wins again. And as for the weather in Edmonton, hasn't been too bad of a year. I think there was maybe like one day where I actually brought my fan out and then brought that downstairs and had that going for about a day. But last year and the year before, there was a little bit of a stretch where it was just stupid hot. Hello, boy. Cat petting intermission. Need my Sasquatch hand color. That's what I call this color. This is the Sasquatch hand color. It's not quite fleshy color, but it's not quite brown. And I just mix a little bit of brown into it. Not that I've ever seen a Sasquatch to see if he has hair on his hands or anything. He's probably got like really hairy knuckles, I bet. There we go. Ooh, a honeybee nest. I think in Edmonton you're allowed to have honeybees in your yard if you own a yard. I'm not 100% positive, but I would actually like to get a honeybee nest. I have a bat house, which is really cool. I just don't have a tree to put it in. It's basically, it looks like a flat rectangular box. And when you put it together, I guess the best way to explain it would be, it's kind of like a box like this, and there's little slats that go up, and you cover it with really like those carpets that people usually have outside their front doors, like that type of carpet, that really rough stuff. And then the bats just sleep in there during the day, and then at nighttime they go out and eat all the bugs in the yard. And I just kind of pretend that they never eat the moths, because then I would be sad, because the moths are my buddies. But whatever. Bats got to eat. Moths got to eat. Sharks got to eat. And that's why Dave doesn't go in the water. Because he get eaten by the sharks. Even pools. I don't even think Dave's ever been in a pool his entire life. That's just stuff he doesn't partake in. It's like, nope. No pools, no oceans. Don't worry, Dave. They're waiting for you. One day you'll make a slip and you'll be on the beaches of Hawaii, and you'll be like, I'm just gonna go take a little tiny dip in the water, and then a shark's gonna come up and bite off his big toe. Oh, yeah, the space frogs. Apparently, there's a space frog in progress of being plushified.
Yes.
It has been confirmed. Which, whenever that does get made, I'll plug it all over my social media stuff.
It could very well be today.
It could very well be today, apparently. Pending Foxx doesn't have to go take dogs for walks or anything like that. No dog walking today. That's not in the agenda. Oh yeah, everybody's gone down to secret headquarters. Can't talk about it because it's secret. All right, look at that sprog. Ooh, I need my yellow. Avert your eyes, children. It's a pen. It's not watercolor, but it's the yellowest color that I got that works perfect. So, hello, mister. He's not cooperating. That's all right, mister. We got ways to make you talk. Like snacks. Yes. They would take a nibble and sneak off. Yes. Nature is amazing. Unless, of course, you're on the business end of an angry Sasquatch punching you in the jaw. Let's see here. Ginger ale cans. I need my ginger ale green. It's real ginger ale, not that crappy ginger ale that claims it's made with ginger, but then you look at the ingredients and it doesn't actually have ginger in it. Canada Dry, looking at you. There's a company in BC called Fentimans, and they make my favorite ginger ale. It's super gingery, and it hits you right in the back of the nose, and it tingles. That's the best. Alrighty. Cat snack jar. Oh, I forgot which color I went with here for the cat snacks. You have to give me a second. Got to go to the record books here. Back to June, if I remember correctly. When? Or was it April? It'll be here 1 second. I just gotta. Yeah, it's June. Where are you, Mr. Gremlin? Or no, I think it was the gargoyle. Yes, it was the gargoyle. There he is. Might as well show you the. Whoops. Might as well show the little story for it. So the space frog call sign gargoyle went to the space bar, and 32 squared says, "Sorry, pal, no outside cat snacks allowed in the pub." So, it's kind of a dick move. But then again, 32 squared he's kind of stupid. So Gargoyle decided to go home. And I realized that I didn't put my brightness up a little bit on here. I apologize for that, everybody. There. Now you can actually see a little bit better. So there we go. Look at that tacky carpet they got at the space bar. Unbelievable. Yeah. Gargoyle isn't mad. He's going home. He's going to have snacks. He's going to beat up the gremlin later because that's what he does. In actuality, too, he does beat up the gremlin because, the gremlin's a great, big, huge orange cat, but he doesn't realize how big and heavy and strong he is. So he just kind of takes the beating from his brother all the time. Add a little circle there because that's just the way out. Bonk. That's just the way it is. Alrighty. Red package, inspired by Walkers / Lay's. Cat snacks. No, they're not gluten-free. No, they're not vegan. All meat all the time. Actually, can't really knock vegan food because I've had good vegan food. There's a vegan restaurant in Edmonton that I don't mind going to, but I mean, on a regular basis, I don't think I could do that because I could never give up my delicious curry squid, which, I gotta go to dim sum sometime soon. I haven't been to dim sum for a while. That's good stuff. If you ever get a chance to go to a nice, good dim sum where they cart the food around, I think I say this every weekend, but you should go. Especially in Edmonton. If you live in Edmonton, Jumbo Dim Sum. 178th Street, I think it is. Best dim sum in the entire universe.
Undead Jed just gave me an idea.
An idea?
He says cat snack fever.
Oh, jeez.
That could turn into a cartoon.
I think you may have got Fox's brain hamster moving around. I got a couple cartoons coming up here with Carl, and he may be hungover, and everyone laughing at him because it's Carl. He's an alien trying to figure out stuff on Earth, but the problem is he thinks he's smart, but he's not that smart. He might be a journalist, but he's the one that spills all the Slurpees on the controls and crashes into the New Mexico desert, and he's the type of guy that... Sorry?
And blames it on Stanton.
Yeah, blames it on Stanton. How are you going to blame it on Stanton? Unbelievable. All right, boy. We're just going to give you some green eyeballs. Neon green. Talking to my cat, by the way. I apologize, everyone. Sometimes there's nobody else to talk to but the cats. Alrighty. There we go. What color eyes do you want the zombie to have? White, green, orange, pink, purple, blue?
They're usually white with a colored irises.
Okay, I'm going to leave it as that then.
Usually the same colors like their island.
Ooh, we're almost on to the inking phase. My second favorite part. I guess my favorite part was when it's all done and it looks all handsomely fancy. Oops. Got a big old glob of water on there. That's all right. Secretive watercolor. You can just mop that stuff right up, and it never existed. Nice. By the way, all of these are always available if you want the original copy. They're relatively cheap. $50 Canadian, which is probably like $7 American, probably. Because, you know, the Canadian dollar is worth nothing. We're basically like the Venezuela of North America. Job liberals. All right. Let me see here. Anything else? Ooh. Gotta make sure you get that olive martini green on there for the martini. Gotta have a martini. Never actually had a real martini. I had a Negroni once. It was some kind of Italian thing. Really sweet, tasty, but a little too sweet for me. Just gotta check for the sloppiness. I tried out some different watercolors the other day. Hello, Andrew Gnome's Trucking Express. No. We phased out our pennies like, holy crap. When did we get rid of our pennies? Like
A while ago.
I think it was like early 2000s we got rid of pennies. So it was really stupid. So when you go to the store and you pay for something in cash, they round it up or round it down. And it's really stupid. Like the thing that bugs me, if something's 56 cents, they round it up. So, or I'm not really sure how it works anymore because it's just really dumb. And I just try to not be too grumpy about it. But I think at the end of the year, they should just give everybody back. Like if you just have like a cash receipt of some sort, they should just give you like $60 back or something for the change that they steal from you so they can squander it on stupid things, especially like in Edmonton, more bike lanes or LRT to nowhere. Rah, 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 grumble, grumble, grumble.
Bike lanes in a city that has winter 6 months of the year.
Yeah. Our illustrious mayor for the last 3 mayors have been pushing LRT or bike lanes in a city that's, you know, we get about 3 weeks of summer and then it's winter for the most part. And where my friend lives, there was 4 lanes of traffic going to where his house is, and they narrowed it down to 1 lane each way, and they made the outer lanes into bike lanes. And sure, fair enough, that sounds like a good idea. Nature and green, and you know, get big fat fatties out riding their bikes or whatever. But the problem is that nobody uses them because there's a sidewalk right beside it. And if you've ever been to Edmonton, you don't want to ride your bike on the road because Edmonton drivers have brain damage. Like, it's like you could be the smartest person in the world. You get into a car and the spirit of Edmonton turns your brain into mush and you become completely stupid.
And then it's exponentially worse the first snowfall.
Yeah. First snowfall. You could live in Edmonton like, as long as I lived here, like 9,000 years. Everybody forgets how to drive in the winter. And then you have an influx of people that have never driven in the winter. And then that just turns everything into a complete gong show. And so anyways, the bike lane by my buddy's place, they kept the 2 inner lanes, put the outer lanes as bike lanes, and they put up little pylon type things. They drilled them right into the ground. So smart, right? So nobody runs over the bikers riding their pedal bikes down the bike lanes that they don't use. But the snow plows come by, and since it snows a lot and it starts piling up, and the snow plows, you know, when you get into a vehicle, your brain turns to mush in Edmonton, and the snow plows just drive right over all the pylons and break them. And then the city has to go spend money to repair them for the bike lanes that nobody uses. Great. It's like they decided to build this funicular, which is a gigantic box that goes up and down the river valley, up the side of the river valley. And it's about a 5-minute ride. It's fun to go on, but it was unneeded because there's about 10,000 stairs you could take. And there is wheelchair access anyways, besides the funicular. And this was all stuff that's been there for a long time. And the city's like, well, they do this in like New York and stuff all the time. And so I guess we're apparently New York because we got a funicular. And At least they didn't go with the gondolas that they thought they were going to do. Yeah. I'd love to die in a gondola accident in Edmonton on flat ground with no mountains around me. Explain that one to your friends. Good gods. Anyways, despite the brain damage of the city council and the people that drive around Edmonton, I still like the city. We get some of the best river valleys in the entire universe. And all my friends live here, all 13 of them. I'm not including my internet friends or my best buddy in America, me Bob, or my muse that lives in Illinois. But yes, 2026 coming up quick. If anybody wants Christmas cards, you're going to have to email me or get in touch with me somehow. Send me a post office box or something or whatever. Yeah, you're never going to catch the bird, buddy. Send me a post office box number of some sort, and then I'll send you a Christmas card. And more often than not, I end up throwing in like a little art card or something. And yeah, comes in a fancy wax sealed envelope as well. Handwritten letters inside them each too, because that's always nice. Back in the day, people were always excited to get letters from on email, and now everyone's excited to get letters. Excited to get letters in the mail, because there's not a lot of people that do that. But you know what? Probably Canada Post will go on strike again at Christmas time and think it's going to help them, and it's not, because everybody else will pick up their slack. So either way, yeah, if you'd like a Christmas card, just get in touch with me. Send me a post office box or mailing address, whatever. And then, yeah. And then if you want, when I mail you one, you can send me one back. Yes, you're a little wiener boy. You're a little wiener boy. Aren't you, Mr. Gremlin? Hey, is that bird bugging you? There's a bird that's sitting on top of my little trellis outside. And he's just pestering the gremlin, and he's doing his little gremlin thing. Whining about it because he's a little crybaby. Hunts Point. I'm not sure where that is, but I know where New York is, and I know where New York State is, which most Canadians probably out west probably don't know, because a lot of people are terrible with geography. I'm relatively good with it. Crack my own hog on that one. Alrighty. The space frog and the zombie here, they got to stand on stools because they're short. Luckily, Fabrice made sure that there was enough stools for all his short little buddies when they came over. Not like Carl was paying attention. He's too busy hamming it up with Sasquatch here. Carl. Jeez. Unbelievable. Hello, Mel WD40. It's coming in to lube everybody up. Everybody's been lubed up. Now that we're all lubricated, everything is going to go much smoother. No rigidness now. I wonder if Mel has a spray bottle or he just spits on everybody. I don't know. Whoops. I forgot a spot. Ugh. I don't know if it's going to work out or it's just going to turn green. Oh, yeah. Look at that super powerful yellow. Thank you, Faber-Castell. Please sponsor me. Man, when I was a kid, I always wanted skateboard companies to sponsor me. Now that I'm like older, I want to be sponsored by a Danielle Smith watercolors and Faber-Castell pens. They can send me t-shirts and I'd wear them. Oh, and samples. That'd be pretty cool. Or maybe the CIA could hire me to draw disinformation cartoons. I know you dickheads are listening. Guess that's not a proper way to talk to your potential employer, but whatever. They know what they do. They're proud of it. I'd be proud of it. I'd probably have to like move to Missouri or something. Pretty sure the CIA headquarters is in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. That's what the D.C. stands for, by the way.
I knew that.
How about you, Mr. Gargoyle?
Mel says it's a spray can.
Oh. Yeah, you know, I just basically live in a gutter, so like my entire mind and body is always in the gutter. I'm not going to elaborate because Dave will be like, Fylth, you can't be talking about that kind of stuff on the show. But like, but Dave, it must be said. I'm pretty sure I could probably get away with a bunch of stuff. So I'd be like, come on, Dave. I'll be like, little chest hair for you, Dave. And he'd be like, oh, yeah, you're good. Yeah, apparently that's all I have to Dave.
And also, you could be placed in your own private Idaho.
I could go to Idaho. Wait a minute. The spelling that makes it funny. Actually, I got a friend that's currently in Montana. I told him to make sure he watches out for Bigfoot and UFOs. I know there's a lot of UFOs and junk down there. Probably.
Yeah, they probably just stick you on one of those islands way the Northwest Territories.
Ugh.
Your own little floating block of ice.
Well, at least on the plus side, I know I'd be able to fly out there, and Denny would probably get me to take a bunch of stuff because I work at a warehouse. We do camping and fishing stuff, and I send stuff to. I don't know if America has them, but there's a company called Co-op, and it's a cooperative of local people, and it's like a PV Mart or Home Depot or Walgreens or whatever. I'm not sure what the American equivalent is, but anyways, I ship all this stuff up there to like Iglookatuk and Iskatavik and all these weird Scandinavian sounding name places and junk. And yeah, I learned that you can't just ship anything willy-nilly namby-pamby up there because, well, certain things like batteries don't really work well going up into the air in a pressurized space. So you have to basically, if we ship up ice fishing equipment like ice augers and junk, apparently they can only have a pilot and a co-pilot on those flights, because if they decide to malfunction and blow a hole in the side of the airplane and the airplane crashes, only 2 people die. So, great. It's never happened, but that I know of. But I guess you don't want to take that chance. So we had to deal with a bunch of Transport Canada stuff about that, and it's considered dangerous goods, and you got to do all this paperwork, and it takes forever because you got to handwrite everything because they won't do it on the computer and all this stuff. And I think everything should just be handwritten anyway because I'm weird like that, and I just love analog stuff. So analog synthesizers, analog drawings, stuff like that works out pretty good. It's my favorite. All right, we're just about done here. I gotta do the space bra, call sign Gargoyle. He's a really good boy. He's super handsome, aren't you, mister? Look at you. He's currently passed out using a box as a pillow. And when Foxx showed up today, he demanded all the pettings. There was no choice. And then
He had no dignity, no shame. He's just like, love me.
Yeah. He's for a lack of better term, the gargoyle is a slut.
Shameless.
Shameless slut gargoyle. Whitney comes over. Space Captain comes over. Yeah. I'm forgotten. And he goes and gets love from his best buddies. What are you going to do about it, though? Oh, well, Klausenheimer. Your cat doesn't love you when his friends come over. But he's got his little tiny fangs. You know, he could be a good vampire. Little vampire cat. Dick's Sporting Goods Store. And the guy who owns it, his name is Big Richard, I bet. Yeah, you got to watch out for the quiet ones. But usually I'm the quiet one when I actually hang out with my like big groups of friends. I just like to sit and listen, and I get to hang out with people, and I get to draw cartoons and junk. Like the times I went to Vegas with Dave and everybody. For the most part, I just hung out, drew cartoons, scribbled them on my little notebook. But well, I guess not the first time. The first one there, Nicole was just plugging me full of cigarettes and Jack Daniels. So all the comedy was held. Oh, and Grant Tavius was there. Handsome Grant Baker. What a guy. We're honored and privileged to have Grant part of Spaced Out Radio. I even sent him a cartoon. I wish he was here right now. As a matter of fact, after this, I'm going to phone Grant and pester him. Like, hey, Grant, what are you doing? He'd be like, I'm out on a boat right now somewhere. I'd be like, great, you're going to talk to me. Because he did say I can call him whenever I want, so. Cat snacks. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to have to give the cat snacks after this. But I got smart, and I fed the cats before I did the show today, so I don't actually have to feed them anymore. But Mrs. Filth isn't home yet, so she'll probably end up feeding them, and I just won't say anything. Happy Saturday, Wiener Boys. Alrighty. Finish up the gargoyle here. With his little space frog suit. Excellent. Look at that. Let's just add a little bit of detail here, and then we'll be good to go. It's almost chicken wing time. And my pal Barb is going to come hang out with us. She's like my unofficial grandma. I don't have any grandmas left anymore. I don't even have any grandpas left anymore. It's lame. Alrighty. Well, I hope everyone has a good rest of their Saturday. I don't have any plans for today after chicken wings. Just chicken wings, and then I get to come home, and I don't even know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to fire up the Super Nintendo, to be honest. Yeah, I remember when there were cartoons in the newspaper all the time. Yeah, Bino. Not much you could do. Are you scribbling?
Oh no, cat snack fever has formed into a full idea.
Excellent. Cat snack fever is apparently a full idea, which is why I got Foxx doing all the writing for me. Because I'm not the best writer. I got a couple good ideas once in a while, but they don't formulate it as quick as hers. I got a little bit of background detail in here.
Sports Illustrated for kids. Don't let the aliens see it.
Oh boy, if Carl seen a Sports Illustrated magazine, or Club magazine, there'd be nothing left. We'd be all doomed. Oh, I forgot to say hello to Anne Joanne and Undead Jed. Because you guys showed up and I was kind of rambling and answering to me, just kind of talking with you, and I forgot to say hi, so hi. Oh, an interesting story at my work. Our warehouse dog Pico. I guess on Thursday, there's always different dogs at work, and Pico's the best, but she loves kids and people, but she doesn't like other dogs. So that's fine. Whenever Pico comes to work, there's no other dogs. But so Thursday, Pico was staying at home, and my adopted mom phoned Ray and asked if he wanted to let Pico out. So Jane went and let Pico outside. And Ray's fence, like they rebuilt, his neighbors redid the fence and everything, and it's not quite finished. Anyways, Ray got home and Pico's nowhere to be found, and so he's stressed out really bad. But anyway, she went for an adventure, and the city called him like 9 o'clock. It's like, hey, do you have a dog? He's like, yes. So they delivered Pico, and apparently his registration was expired, so he's got to go get it registered. He's probably doing that right now as we speak. But so I had a little chuckle about that, and I think I might draw a cartoon for Ray about Pico's adventure. And it'll probably just be her pooping on the neighbor's lawn. But nothing sucks like losing your animals, man. It's never fun. I've had Whiskey and Blob back in the day. They'd stay outside real late and they wouldn't come home, and I'd be stressing out about it and everything. And this pen, why? Yeah, it works fine on that. But yeah, usually it's fine. I mean, they really don't go far. We don't let the boys outside anymore because they're severely brain damaged. They just jump the fence and go pester everybody else. And anyways, that's a story for another time. This is what am I going to call it? How am I going to do the calendar thing here this time? Let's see here. Yeah, Pico's good. Pico's the most spoiled dog in the world because the Pure Later lady has snacks for her. There's snacks up front for the office ladies, give her snacks. Irish, he brings a sandwich every day for the dog. Ray feeds her snacks or his lunch. He'll go out and buy like a foot-long meat sandwich or whatever from Subway. Eat like 3/4 of it and give the dog the rest. And yeah, she's spoiled. Anyways, this is... we'll just do it this way.
Night Drive says, yo, sorry if this offends you, Phil. I almost get an Invader Zim vibe from one of those dudes.
I don't know why it would offend me, but I never actually watched any Invader Zim or what was that other one? Johnny the Homicidal Maniac? Is it the Space Sprog, I wonder? Probably.
Or the Zombunny.
Probably the Zombunny.
I've had people say that the plushies remind them of Invaders and mostly Gur.
Yeah.
The bunny does kind of look like Gur.
I don't know who those characters are, but I'm pretty sure they're popular and people enjoy them, so I hope they enjoy my cartoons as well. And nothing's really totally original. I've probably unconsciously vacuumed up a ton of ideas from other artists and everything like that. So, like my gnome apparently looks like Chucky from Rugrats.
Or Wild Thornberry, according to the people of the art.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Wild Thornberries are, but
Another cartoon kind of along the same vein as Rugrats, I think.
yes. But either way, nothing's original. And if I can inspire someone to draw something similar, then excellent. I hope so. And I hope everybody enjoys doing what they do. And if they find inspiration from something, I would suggest that they use it and don't be afraid to even just draw characters that you like. I know a lot of people just spend their time drawing like Bugs Bunnies and all that type of stuff. So here's the oh yeah, cat on the right, the old gargoyle. He's sitting here right beside me still. Yeah. Yes, he's one of the space sprogs. There was 4 original space sprogs. They're aliens from outer space. And one of them my blob retired to the supervisor's lounge, so she doesn't do any more work, but you got Whiskey's basically the muscle, and Gremlin, he's kind of a heavy guy himself, but Gargoyle is kind of the special operations guy. So anyways, this is the Happy New Year 2026 cartoon for the first one of my calendar, and I'll have these all done in no time, and then the calendar will be ready fairly shortly, and hopefully it should be good to go at the beginning of October, maybe beginning in November, but I'd like to get it out a little bit earlier because then I have a whole bunch of time to send out Christmas cards. I start sending those out in the middle of October because it takes forever to get places. Well, and Joanne, I hope you start drawing again because, what's the worst that can happen? You start drawing stuff and oh yeah, hit that like button with a steel chair or give it a stone cold stunner or choke slam like the Undertaker or something. Yeah, drop an anvil on it as well. an Acme anvil. But you know what, Joanne? Go and get yourself some artwork or some art materials and start scribbling and just make something, and yeah, just share it with your friends, and you know, what's the worst that can happen? Like I said, you just enjoy yourself and have a good time doing it. I enjoy sitting here drawing cartoons and rambling for an hour, and I'm going to go eat chicken wings, and that'll be the only time I'm quiet for a little bit. Black fingernail vibe. Oh, yes. I decided to go with the black fingernails because Dirty Fylth, and I'm going to do a show every weekend. I might as well make the character correct. So Fox and I are going to wrap this up, and we're going to get a hold of Barb, and we're going to go have chicken wings, and I'm going to bug my pal to make sure I get my French fries this time. Or if you live in America, freedom fries, if they still call them that. I don't know. They just kind of do whatever, whenever. So everybody, have a good rest of your day, and have a wonderful Saturday, and a good rest of your evening, and have a good Sunday. I suggest taking out a roast and getting a roast ready for Sunday. Make yourself like a nice pork roast or a beef roast or something. Put some potatoes and carrots and onions in there, and slice it a little bit, and cram some garlic chunks in there, and put some apple juice in there if you're doing a pork roast. It'll make it nice and sweet. Cook it nice and low for like 6 hours. And don't forget some nice buns to go with it. All right, everybody, remain dauntless. Have a wonderful evening.